So these are also some of the things that myself, when we after such incidents, we also had to do the investigation. But back to these notes, we had to see the delivering from the ceiling, the downward movement. So when we're doing all this, we have to check that all these inlets, outlets are actually being moved, and also measuring of temperature and humidity and air pressure that it remains to be positive. Okay, so these are some pictures for our operating theatre. Now, patient's room, the relative humidity is about 50%, aircon is about 24%. Radiology, this is the area that I spend slightly more time because of looking at how the lead lining is actually being, are they still intact, and also checking of the personal cooling device and ventilation for certain of the older. Okay. Now, toxicity room, my previous hospital, we don't have this, but I can imagine how smelly is it. The formaldehyde smell, which is, once the smell is really very good. Formaldehyde is a chemical that have a certain preservation. Okay, so have I been caught before in when I was working in hospital? Yes. Okay. Not pleasant, but as part of our auditing in the hospital, we have to go through it, and we check out the exhaust and also the preservation temperature, especially in the uh, especially later on the when it comes to the mortuary. Okay, administration. Okay, um, not so. We got to make sure that the local exhaust system, okay, that move the air towards the admitting patient. Okay, now some hospitals have boilers because of hot water, mainly for hot water supply. And then in MOM for general provision, we have covered this very briefly. There is a need for the boiler attendant. So the boilers, okay, hot water boilers, steam boilers. Okay. Nowadays, the laundry has been outsourced, bigger scale. And I remember one that it was in Toa Payoh, it also caught fire. Now also burn certain fields, now not so much over here. Okay. So all these details is I think not for your, it's just for information. Now we've gone to specialized facility. Also, this is for waste management. Now this again, I can tell you, please don't do. If you are not in this area, in your project, don't do. But just for information sake, that for toxic in Singapore, generally Singapore is the waste divided into general waste. I'm just covering for your knowledge. Right? Now, Singapore waste we cover into two parts. One is general waste and one is toxic waste. Now, and then the last one is the biomedical waste. So they have like for bio waste, and there's also another one called cytotoxic. So all these, Singapore being small, we need to be mindful of keeping our waste segregated and maintain, not just keep the rats out, but also the fact that you do not know it could be used for means of for some arson attack. Okay, so the hazardous waste is also for human. If we don't manage it well, it can really harm a person. I'm not too sure. Have you heard in the 1950s? There's Japan. We call it. There was one irresponsible factory that discharged mercury into the river as a byproduct. So what happened was when we went into the sea and they bioaccumulate, and when in Japanese, as you probably know, they eat quite they use fish as their main diet, and they actually go into food poisoning. Okay, so hazardous waste, especially Singapore, we are so heavily densely populated. We got to know what where are the toxic waste. That's where when you're doing the risk assessment, you need to know where are the toxic waste and what are the potential harm they can do to the human and also the environment. And we have all these signages, ignition, corrosive, explosive, toxic. Okay. So this big industry for in terms of hazardous waste are from this field, but because printing, leather, those are not so much. Even metalworks, most of it all went over, okay, to other countries. Chemical is still around, but I think with this, my thoughts are, I don't know whether you will agree with me. Now energy is like going into electrification. Okay? Everything is all electric. Cars are going electric. Buses are also going electric. And battery technologies are coming. Chemicals will still be around because of the fact that like the battery pack, nickel cadmium will still be around. And when the end of life for EV vehicles, where do we actually dispose all these batteries? And mind you, these batteries are, as you can see in some other videos, are highly flammable. So how do we going to manage them? So we need to be mindful, okay? And then there are for smaller industries, even like your mobile phones, okay? And most of devices, etc. Now they have some form of battery and they have chemicals. So how do we actually going to dispose? So of course, these are the three options. Again, these are just for your knowledge. Now, if you are in your project, some of you have submitted to me, related to toxic waste, they are, as I said, so toxic waste, they have what I call schedule in this Environmental Protection Act. In the back, they tell you which one are toxic waste, what sort of quantity that you could actually be disposed, and it has to be monitored. So the other one that has of significance is the Water Pollution and Drainage Act. This is because of the fact that some of the areas even within our apartments, there are some catchment. Okay, they are used for catchment that goes by this area near Toa Payoh. It's going into the Kallang River. Okay, so all this you got to make sure that as much as we could, the industry that used to be too close to the river and they have toxic, we had to make sure that they are properly managed. And you can see those in Kallang, along the Kallang River, there used to be quite a lot of course, quite simple shipyard. It used to be the Tua Kong Zuk, by time, painting of those bump boats and all that. And some light industries around the river where there was discharge. That was 70s and 80s. But now you can see with the ABC beautification of the water courses and using the Kallang River as what being connected to subsequently to the Marina Barrage. We had to make sure that along the branches of the tributaries, they are free from toxic waste. So these are the typical wastewater treatment plant. So this this is for chemical treatment, and you can see that on the far right side, the top here is sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide to balance off the the pipe, or it could also, if it's too alkaline, then it will also, instead of attacking the lining of the pipe, it will start to accumulate. Okay, you will have some calcites lying on the like choking of your heart like that. There will be deposits. So we got to balance out some of the pH. But unless you're coming to my water treatment classes, then I'll tell you more. But this is wastewater treatment plant. So we try not to go beyond 9. Go beyond 9, there will be some form of deposit along downstream. So some details where they have dosing pumps. Okay. So toxic waste comprises of 1.5 of total waste. So these are waste oil, solvent, agents, and such. Waste oil, good news is that now as more and more vehicles coming into EV, one of the key things that we took note of is that EV cars usually, I'm not selling EV, don't get me wrong. They rely less maintenance. So all these like waste oil from vehicle maintenance has drastically been reduced. Okay. So the NEA is the one Ministry of Environment that is actually looking into toxic waste. Yeah. And they're still very active. Okay. And they are now looking at how to recycle. I think what I'm going to share is like it's a bit outdated. Even some countries use your the cooking oil from the frying, from those French fry corners or that. Then they put that onto vehicles that they actually run. But one thing, because of the fact that you're using cooking oil, it will, number one, I'm not sure whether you have any seen one. It smells like as if there's a French fry machine. If you have a vehicle running on cooking oil, if it smells like a French fry machine, literally. It's just like you're cooking some chips, and it depletes very quickly. It can run on oil. There are some engines, some even small portable generators. They can run on some kind of very unusual kerosene. I'm not tried cooking oil, but that will be interesting. Okay. So NEH did all the checks to make sure that those that can be not totally like discard them away. Like for example, from shipyard, some of the waste they can actually recycle it, make it inert and recycle it as for the road aggregates. Okay, biomedical and hospital waste management also is handled by NEA. Okay, so there are various guidelines for it being dished out since '89. So biomedical and this infectious waste got to be very carefully being managed. The common one that I encountered during it was sharps, usually the needles. Cultured waste, okay? Those that also that from blood sample. I still remember one of the case that I had to do the investigation was we have some kind of carousel in the lab. One of the lab in Singapore, and then the blood was spilled around the place. So pretty bad. Okay, pretty messy. Okay, the non-infectious waste. These are, as the name suggests, these are they would not transmit, but they had to be handled with care. The first one is cytotoxic. These are usually because of cancer, because of the waste generated from treating those patients with cancer. Radioactive, we do have some radioactive isotopes. Okay? Pharmacy waste, like waste that has been, medicine has been dated, or sometimes they send certain of this medicine it can possibly cause harm and they stop using it. So MOH actually send a notification to us and dispatch of we have to push through the system to make sure that all the pharmaceutical drugs that associated with the notice has been disposed. Chemical waste could be from various places, including facility management and general waste, usually paper, wood. Biomedical, okay, has to be very detailed, got to make sure that it's traceable and make sure that they have been properly been handled. The packaging and storage, okay, and this is the typical sharp container, okay. If you go to, I hope you go to the hospital, but yeah, if which there's a date, okay, of this box being used, how long can you store, and then subsequently dispose. Okay, so now for those who join in a bit late, there's no concern. This is just for general knowledge. Okay, so the reason is that to make sure all of you come in. So I've covered virtually all the lectures. Now, as I said, this part of the lecture is very much for site visit, pre-site visit and pre-intro, but because for this program there's no site visit, so it's just for knowledge. Okay, right. So let me go into what's for tonight.
Sorry, Mr. Ng. So confirm this one will not be tested, is it?
Nope.
Thank you.
It's more for your knowledge. This portion, front part is more for knowledge. Chapter 9 is for, as mentioned, is for preparation for site visit. But your site visit, you don't have site visit.
Some guys can happen.
Can you hold on, please? Yeah. Let me go through this part first. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay. Because quite a number of people coming in. Give me a minute. Okay. Yep. This scan. Yeah. So for those, I know that some of you feedback that some of the lecturers are different in terms of scanning QR codes. I have my reasons. Reason is that I usually let y'all scan and then later on manually I do it. But some lecturers want to do it different because they probably have another, because some of it, this portion to go around it takes some time. Actually, after you all finish your lessons, I think Mr. Kevin will see. I stay back and do the manual, so it will take some time. Okay, so but this is what I do for you folks. Okay, easier. Otherwise, you'll be going through, and I don't know how the other classes are doing in terms of taking. It may take a long time for you to scan, but I thought the more important thing is that for you to be in the lesson and all this attendance administrative part. At least after you all leave already, I will do it for you. Yeah. So, but that is my service. That's me. That's Andrew. Okay. So, just slightly different. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. So the QR code. I know that for some of you, as I mentioned, after you scan already, I do it all. The main thing is, okay. I had a few encounter with SSG. So the thing is that so long you're being captured, so more of it is to capture the time. Then later on I'll do the. And anyway, you also notice all my sessions. Okay? All my sessions including this, your QR code is captured on video already. So, yeah. But I will still double check to make sure that your attendance is being taken. Okay, anybody else? Okay, everybody all right? Yeah. More to go. Okay. Everybody need before I'm actually running two computers. I got one laptop here and one laptop here, so you can see my face all open. Yeah. Everybody okay? Yeah. Running two laptops. I thought that would be a bit more efficient. Yeah. Okay. Now, if there's everybody is okay, I'll go into. Okay. So we have actually. Let me cut off my face also. So we have okay. So we have actually covered almost all the modules, including chapter 9, so the specialized service, etc. Now, after the break, I'll go through the mock paper. Now, and then the assessment details. So let me just go through the assessment details with you first. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you, there are a few assessments to this particular module, and you notice that your assessment will only start kicking off after you hand up your report. Okay, so thank you again for some of you have hand up and literally print out and read through. But my apologies because some of you can't read my writing. I was really doing very quickly because this week is our last week of the school term. I had to be involved in various number of tests for the whole time. So literally, when you all submitted, some of you that submitted to me about 3 o'clock. I try to do as much as I can for you so that you could proceed with the work. Now back to assessment. As I mentioned, your project is 25%. Okay, so it's essential, and we have last week seen briefly how, and you know who is Mr. Lee by now, how the interview is going to be like. It's not, we require you to navigate your slides, so please navigate, and also not just submit your PowerPoint, but you also need to submit your Word document so that we could check which element, which of the hazards have you, where do you address a certain part of the slides. Okay, that is being important. Okay, that's already 25%. Now, some of you expressed to me very concerned. And usually, if we find that your project you somehow not have there's some improvement or clarification, that's where on 13th of August, okay, sometimes it's better to have a face-to-face. But of course, right now I put it online, okay. There will be clarification. Project, you can mark me, you must pass. Okay? Project, you must pass. Okay? Without passing this project, I can tell you your subsequent written assessment, you will have problems. Okay? So please do your project much as you can. So now we have approached me while saying that the project is very tough. Okay? So hopefully tonight I can convince you that this project, yes, it has a lot of things coming in, but please have an understanding that this project will help you in assessment. That's why we purposely put the interviews here, okay, for clarification before you come for the actual the test session from 23rd to 6th of August, right? So that's why we do this make sure that actually, to be frank with you, and this is not just from me, this is all what I say is from those who have graduated. It is from this project, people understood better what this risk management is about. All right. So do your best, okay, and do take note that these 3 weeks, there is asynchronous e-learning and individual interview. So repeat again. So you still have to log in to take all the necessary attendance. Sorry, and probably have to do it earlier. Okay, so I hope those who can log in to at least take your attendance, just like what I did. I usually will log in at 5:55, okay, or even earlier. Once the QR code is appear, I put it long. So then after that, you will go into the interviews. Now, first 3 weeks, and this will take 3 weeks. All right, the details we'll talk about that later on when I zoom into it later. Then, okay, you can see on the 23rd there's a revision. Okay, so those one of you actually approached me and said, "Hey, I give you a mock paper. Isn't it too early? By July, I forgot everything already." Hear you. Okay, I hear you. 23rd, Mr. Lee will briefly ask for review because your case study and written assessment here is only 1 hour. Okay, so the rest of the time we probably will pull the test towards the end, and the first few hours you will just briefly go. He cannot teach the whole thing, but you will just roughly go through some of the assignment very quickly. Okay, some of the topics very briefly. So you do have revision. It's not that you're thrown directly to the assessment. So our various feedback, we cater for this, but he cannot go into specific. Don't ask him, will this question come out? Will that question come out? In fact, to be frank, almost the questions are quite a lot. Okay? So he will not be able to tell you which one is which, but he will just go through the revision. Clear? Alright, so that will be on the 23rd. Revision for probably about 3 hours at most. Then 1 hour is your case study. Okay. 30th of July will be 1.5 hours. Okay, our papers are all 1.5 hours. We have the face-to-face, 1.5 hours, where we require you to print hard copy. I already mentioned to you which are the notes, for example, the guidelines for ergonomics. These are the basic one, and the rest, what you want to print, your project, bring along a project, that will be helpful. All right, and I'm telling you right in front, and this all the test itself, all these tests is to see whether you're familiar with the material. We are not really testing you to the extent of some quick questions. Okay, there are some, one or two probably, but the intent is to see where is the information. Reason being, workplace safety, being a safety officer for close to almost 15, 16 years, all the challenges that we have, even with AI, and the AI is not that, in Singapore regulation aspect may be a bit not there yet. They can't actually tell you where it is. And because of the multi-discipline approach for workplace safety. Okay, so and the festoon of all the legal requirements, like some of you will highlight it, wow, so many legal requirements, no choice. Okay, so this module is to test is one of the key assessments is to find out where. Okay, where in your notes, where in your project, where is in the guideline, okay, where does it tell? Because from there, then patient and you know how to make judgment. Just like for those who have submitted, when you do the 5x5, the existing controls, you know that some of them, the law already exists, so the legal requirement will be there. Okay, now I can't open up there's a request to put all the quizzes and see answer up. Okay, now the reason is that there are some folks that have not finished your test yet. I can't open it. Okay, so I can't open up until all of you. There's still some folks that have not finished, and I have extended it to 16th of June. Okay, now and the quiz, as I said, it's a quiz. You are supposed to go through, right? Now I can open up another attempt, so go and go through it. Okay, the idea of the quiz is to sharpen up which are areas that may problem up, and some of the questions in the legal, especially on the unit, that part is the difficult one. Okay, now you could see that those questions are for you. Why is it? Some of you ask, why are the questions so difficult? Now, the reason is, as I mentioned, workplace safety is very wide and a lot of laws. Okay, so these quiz are giving you time to expose to you for the wider range. I know some of you are saying that, well, you just want to pass, but I understand that as well, and this is recorded. However, this is also for those who wants to expand into knowledge. Okay, so please do not see that the quiz are there to is to help you to open up our world of workplace safety and health. All right, it's a very large world, and it's also really technical. At the same time, you need to be mindful of that. Okay, so because this is as I said early in this course, this is a tie-up with workplace safety and health officers course. Okay, yeah. So I can only open up until everyone completed. Okay, so I can open up another attempt for all of you, but you can try until 16 or closer. Okay, that's all I can put up for time being. Okay, right. So 23rd, 30th, and 6th of August. Now 13th of August will be the now tentatively it's online. Okay, where Kabi will talk about the council updates, because sometimes safety we have updates from council. We need to notify you. The last update was you notice that your class I haven't go into arson attacks, mental health, etc. That will be covered later. It's getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so yeah. So this 13th now is open up for re-verification, and also open up for those who miss out some of the assessment. Okay, we acknowledge that these 3 sessions are for tests, but sometimes if you one of you actually wrote to me about you being absent, if it's official duty, please let us know early. Then we can arrange. But tentatively, everything is on 13th of August. Okay? Alright. Shall we go for a break and then come back slightly earlier at 7:40? Is it okay?
Okay.
Two of us. Okay, so we have a breakfast, not breakfast.
Mr. Ng, my assignment I've complete later I send you.
Only by this evening. After that, I have to go already. I actually, okay, thank you for it. But you have to send to me as soon as possible, because I will be leaving soon. Okay,
Yeah, I send you by tonight. Yeah, I say we do that.
Okay, we have a break all during the breakout session. So we have a break until 19